Chapter 4576. The celestial race 5th tier godlord clawed at Lu Ming. His claw rapidly enlarged, covered in the power of heavenly punishment, engulfing Lu Ming. This terrifying power made Lu Ming's pupils constrict and his muscles tense up. The forbidden energy in his body was pushed to its limit. He had long ago activated the battle character art to increase his fighting strength by 8 times, pushing it to its peak. Swish! The war god's spear in his hand transformed into a ray of light and flew toward his opponent's claw. At the same time, he quickly formed a seal with his hands, using the primitive, desolate style. A continent appeared above Lu Ming's head and charged upward. Clang! The war god's spear was the first to be struck, fiercely clashing with the claw, and then it was sent flying back. The claw didn't stop, continuing to claw down at the primitive, desolate continent. The primitive, desolate continent fiercely shuddered and then exploded from the impact. Lu Ming's body shuddered as he retreated, vomiting blood. The 5th tier godlord is truly powerful. He's not someone I can fight against. Lu Ming had a grave expression. His opponent had definitely not used his full strength in that attack, but it was no longer something that Lu Ming could fight against. Even if he used his origin energy and used his strongest attack, he would still be no match for his opponent. Lu Ming was shocked, but he did not know that the other party was even more shocked. He had used 70% of his strength in that attack. It had to be known that he was a 5th tier godlord. Even 70% of his strength was enough to easily suppress a 4th tier godlord expert. But Lu Ming was only a 1st tier godlord, yet he had only been lightly injured after blocking his attack. This was simply inconceivable. How could such a monstrous genius exist in this world? Kill! The 5th tier divine master of the heavenly human tribe wanted to kill Lu Ming. With a roar, a battle sword appeared in his hand. Sword gleams pierced through the air, bursting forth with dozens of sword chis, slashing toward Lu Ming. The terrifying howling of sword chi made Lu Ming feel a terrible sense of danger. He couldn't take it head-on. He couldn't take this attack head-on, or else he would end up in a miserable state. Swish! Lu Ming transformed into a spear gleam and dashed toward the rear. "Want to leave? You won't be able to leave in my hands." His opponent coldly shouted, and the sword chi suddenly accelerated, instantly approaching Lu Ming. Not good. Lu Ming's expression. "Let me slay him." Qiu handed it over and flew out. Its body quickly wriggled and actually turned into a halberd, emitting a terrifying aura. The Qiu's uses origin weapon was a broken halberd. Qiu's gods. The huge halberd slashed out horizontally, shrouding Lu Ming in dozens of sword auras. Chong Dang, the sword aura and the battle halberd collided continuously. In the end, the battle halberd was sent flying. However, there were only a few sword auras left. Lu Ming waved the war god's spear and blocked the last few sword auras. Qiu is so strong. Qiu. To be honest, Qiu's strength had exceeded his expectations. Qiu had just transformed into a halberd, and it had actually erupted with a shred of the might of a source-level divine weapon. Its might was astonishing, and it could definitely kill a 4th-level divine master. It must be known that Qiu's cultivation was only at the peak of the 2nd level of the Divine Lord realm, but it could kill a 4th-level divine lord. Such battle prowess was rare even in the entire desolate universe. It was incredibly difficult for a divine lord to fight someone 1 level above them, let alone kill someone 2 levels above them. There were only a few in the entire primitive universe. Evidently, Qiu's battle prowess was definitely related to the fact that it had devoured several damaged source-level divine weapons. Lu Ming decided that if he had the chance, he would definitely find a few more damaged source-grade divine weapons for Qiu to swallow. If it really didn't work out, he wouldn't hesitate to give Qiu an intact source-grade divine weapon. Right? That armor. Lu Ming thought of the armor he got from Yichu Tianji. It was a source-level divine weapon, but it was pierced through by his war god's spear. If Qiu ate it, wouldn't Qiu possess the defensive power of a source-grade divine weapon? Would it even need to be repaired? Lu Ming decided that once Qiu finished refining the damaged divine weapon in its body, he would give the armor to Qiu. This is a metallic life form. Very good. this metallic life form will be mine. The celestial race 5th level divine lord expert looked at Chochio, his eyes gleaming with greed. For a metallic life form to possess such terrifying battle prowess and even exude the aura of a source-grade divine weapon was simply inconceivable and unheard of. His greed was aroused, and he wanted to take it for himself. Boundless sword light, heavenly punishment in the sky. The celestial race 5th level divine lord expert became serious, his aura erupting as his sword soared into the sky. Heavenly punishment energy filled the air, exuding a terrifying sword might. He was pushing his strength to the limit. Just a bluff. Watch me. Lu Ming seized the opportunity to attack. Chochio messaged Lu Ming, and then its body rapidly transformed into a mirror. It was another source-grade divine weapon, and it exuded a faint aura of one. The mirror shone, and a pillar of light suddenly shot out. The pillar of light rapidly expanded, filling the sky with radiance and enveloping the entire canyon. The celestial race experts were naturally enveloped in this radiance as well. Kill. Kill. The moment they were enveloped by this radiance, the weaker celestial race experts actually began to roar and charge at each other. They were actually killing each other. The 5th level divine lord expert was also confused, a look of struggle appearing on his face. Lu Ming, this light of mine can make people fall into an illusion. Hurry up and kill that guy. He's too strong, and the illusion won't affect him for long. Chochio's voice rang out in Lu Ming's mind. He was completely stunned. He hadn't expected that Chochio would be able to create an illusion after turning into a mirror that could make people lose themselves in it. This ability was definitely powerful and could be of great use at a critical moment. Just like this moment. Ignoring the shock in his heart, Lu Ming pushed his strength to the limit, and his body turned into spear light. He wanted to use his strongest move to kill that 5th level divine lord celestial race expert. But at this moment, the mountain that had been pierced by the celestial race expert released a terrifying aura. It was as if an incomparably terrifying colossus was rapidly charging over. Boom. The moment that aura entered the canyon, Chochio's illusion collapsed. Not good. It's Yiling Tianxiu. Chochio, let's go. Lu Ming roared, grabbed Chochio, and charged toward the entrance they had come from. Although he still had a chance to attack just now, he still had a chance to kill that 5th level divine lord celestial race expert. However, Yiling Tianxiu had already rushed in quickly. Once there was a slight delay and Yiling Tianxiu arrived, both Lu Ming and Chochio would definitely die. Chapter 4577. Yiling Tianxiu was too strong, much stronger than Lu Ming and Chochio. No matter how mysterious Chochio's mirror was, it could not affect Yiling Tianxiu. Putting himself in danger just to kill a celestial race expert was not worth it. Lu Ming was very fast, taking continuous steps as fast as lightning. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at the entrance they had come from. At this time, Yiling Tianxiu also arrived and saw Lu Ming. Just who are you? Stay here. Yiling Tianxiu roared as he slashed out with his sword. A terrifying sword light howled toward Lu Ming, its power many times greater than that of the 5th level divine lord from before. One didn't need to think to know that if one were struck by this attack, only death would await them. Chochio, go. Lu Ming roared. At this time, Chochio had turned into a suit of armor that wrapped around Lu Ming. Lu Ming jumped down and charged into the hole that Chochio had dug out, causing Yiling Tianxiu's sword light to miss and strike the wall, leaving a deep gash in it. Damn it! Yiling Tianxiu roared angrily. His footsteps were as fast as lightning as he rushed to the entrance of the cave where Lu Ming had disappeared. Looking down, he had already lost track of Lu Ming. Once Chochio left, the illusion disappeared, and the celestial race experts woke up. After waking up, they gasped for breath, inwardly fearful. What a powerful illusion! Many thanks to Lord Tianxiu for saving us. The celestial race experts expressed their gratitude to Yiling Tianxiu. Who was that person just now? His impersonation of Yi Chuyi was flawless. Even I couldn't see through it. Yiling Tianxiu said, his eyes cold. It was clear that his anger had reached its limit. I don't know. It seems that Yi Chuyi was killed by this person, and the icy fire star silver was most likely taken by this person as well. The 5th level Divine Lord expert said, "You fought with him just now. Do you know where he came from?" Yiling Tianshou said, "The power that person controls is extremely terrifying and domineering. Moreover, it's very familiar. Yes, it's forbidden power." That 5th level Divine Master expert suddenly exclaimed in surprise. After all, he was a 5th-tier Divine Master. In the Heavenly Human Clan, and even in the 5 Heavenly Palace, he was considered one of the upper echelons. He had once come into contact with forbidden power. It was just that many years had passed, and he hadn't thought of it before. Now that he thought about it carefully, he suddenly remembered. What? Forbidden power? Could this person be Lu Ming? Yiling Tianshou was also shocked and immediately thought of Lu Ming. He had been overseeing the stellar sky continent for tens of thousands of years and was much younger than Lu Ming. Before Lu Ming rose to power, he had already been overseeing this place. However, his connection with the Heavenly Palace did not stop. His father was a powerful celestial master in the Heavenly Palace, so he knew everything that had happened in the primitive universe. Naturally, he had heard of Lu Ming's name. Therefore, when he heard that it was forbidden power, he immediately thought of Lu Ming. Yes, it should be Lu Ming. Lord Tianshou, this person is a great enemy of the Heavenly Palace. Once we capture him, there will be a great reward. A heavenly human said, "That's right. We can't let this person go. Unfortunately, this person can travel underground. Is he not afraid of the underground light?" Yiling Tianshou frowned. If Lu Ming was not afraid of the underground light, then things would be difficult. Lu Ming had been hiding underground and could not be captured. He didn't dare to go underground. With his cultivation, that kind of light could easily kill him. Lord Tianshou, should we report to the Heavenly Palace and have them send more experts to capture Lu Ming? The 5th level Divine Master asked. Report to the Heavenly Palace's upper echelons? Do you want to expose my secret here? What are your intentions? Yiling Tianshou glanced at this person coldly, his eyes filled with killing intent. This person shuddered, his face pale. He dropped to his knees and cried, "Lord Tianshou, please forgive me. This lowly one really did not have any other intentions. This lowly one was too eager to capture Lu Ming, so I lost my mind. Please spare my life. Humph, watch your words next time." Yiling Tianshou snorted coldly and continued to instruct, "Pass down my orders. Send someone to search for Lu Ming. Also, pass down my orders. Tell those trash from the Yin clan to pray every day and speed up the collection of the power of faith. Cut off the remaining 8 lifelines as soon as possible." Yiling Tianshou looked into the depths of the mountain of ancestors, his eyes gleaming with greed. Yes, the other heavenly humans obeyed. Lu Ming was led by Qiuqiu along the mine. Soon, they were far away from the mountain of ancestors and appeared in a place hundreds of thousands of miles away. Swoosh! Lu Ming soared into the sky and looked in the direction of the mountain of ancestors. The heavenly humans will definitely continue to collect faith power to cut off the lifelines. Once the lifelines are cut off, the human race on this continent will be wiped out sooner or later. Lu Ming murmured. He didn't frown. The human race was already weak in the primitive universe, and there were fewer of them now. The Yin clan here was a genuine member of the human clan. Lu Ming did not wish to see this branch of the human clan being annihilated just like that. He had to find a way to stop it. If I can stop the heavenly humans from collecting faith power, they won't be able to continue cutting off their lifelines. But what should I do? Lu Ming murmured, thinking of a solution. That's simple. As long as the people on this continent know the truth about the heavenly humans collecting faith power, they will naturally stop believing in gods. The heavenly humans won't be able to collect faith power. At this moment, Bone's voice sounded. I know that. Unfortunately, I made a mistake and didn't record the scene of the heavenly humans cutting off their lifelines. It's too late now. Lu Ming sighed. If the Yin tribe saw the heavenly humans cutting off their lifelines with faith power, their faith would probably collapse. They wouldn't believe in the heavenly humans anymore, and the heavenly humans wouldn't be able to collect faith power. The key was that he didn't think of this at all. It was too late to regret now. Brat, you should thank this old man. This old man has already recorded everything that happened before with the rest shadow stone. Bone said proudly. It's true. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Of course it's true. Take a look, Bone said. He flew out of Lu Ming's sea of consciousness and handed a rest shadow stone to Lu Ming. Lu Ming took a look. Sure enough, the scene of the heavenly humans cutting off their lifelines and even their words were recorded. Good, that's great. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Lu Ming, although your talent is unparalleled and the most intelligent I've seen in my life, you're still too young after all. You haven't considered the problem carefully enough. You still have to consider more aspects in the future. Bone lectured Lu Ming in the tone of an elder, but his voice was full of pride. Yes, Senior Bone Demon is right. Lu Ming nodded repeatedly. He was in a good mood now. There was no harm in letting Bone Demon take advantage of his seniority. Chapter 4578. Lu Ming, when are you going to get me a few Almighty Master Realm Devil Skeletons, or Almighty Master Realm Devil Skeletons? I won't be able to recover. Bone Demon complained again. Well, I'll get them when I have the chance. Lu Ming smiled embarrassedly. In fact, it was a little difficult. The skeletons of Divine Lord Demons could only be obtained by entering the Dark Universe. However, the entrance to the Dark Universe was sealed by the Heavenly Palace. How could he enter? Besides, it was not easy to get the skeletons of Divine Lord Demons. Although the demon race was one of the top 10 races, they did not have many Divine Lord Demons. It was not easy to get them. Don't brush me off. Bone Demon was doubtful. Cough. Senior Bone Demon, you haven't told me where you came from. You didn't tell me when I asked you. Can you tell me now? Lu Ming immediately changed the topic. With your current cultivation, I can tell you. Listen carefully. I'm the first skeleton after the Eldritch Universe was created. Bone Demon said proudly. The first skeleton after the Eldritch Universe was created? You were created when the universe was created? Are you a primitive divine spirit? Lu Ming was a little shocked. Primitive divine spirits were also created when the Eldritch Universe was created. Bone Demon was the same as a primitive divine spirit. No, I'm not a primordial god spirit. I'm just a skeleton, a demonic skeleton with spiritual consciousness. I speculate that my previous self was an almighty from the previous epoch. My bones have experienced the changes of epochs and the evolution of the universe. Therefore, my life is destined to be extraordinary. I will rise to prominence and live a glorious life. Bone Demon said. Since when did this guy become as arrogant as Dandan? Lu Ming despised him in his heart and said mercilessly, Then how did you end up like this? That's because I was unlucky. The heavenly human race thought I was a primitive divine spirit and surrounded me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have ended up like this. Bone Demon was furious. You were surrounded by the heavenly human race? Then how did you get to stay with Senior Jingyu? Lu Ming asked curiously. The Bone Demon had initially stayed in Jingyu's portrait. Back then, I was besieged by the heavenly human tribe and was severely injured. I almost died, but I managed to break through the encirclement and escaped into an ancient ruin to hide. Later on, Jingyu went to explore that ruin and I followed him out. Bone explained. Lu Ming nodded. He finally understood the origin of Bone Demon and its relationship with Jingyu. This was the first demonic bone at the beginning of the universe. When the universe was first formed, intelligence was born. Could it really be, as the Bone Demon had said, that it was formed from the bones left behind by a supreme being from the previous era? It wasn't impossible. Don't worry, I'll definitely think of a way to get you the demonic bone. But first, we'll deal with the problem of this continent. Let's go. Lu Ming flew through the air. After some time, he returned to the residence of the Sea Sect. After returning to the Sea Sect's residence, Lu Ming did not immediately take out the breathing shadow stone. This matter had to be discussed at length. If he took out the breath shadow stone and showed it to the people of this village, although it would make these people no longer believe in the celestial race, it would also attract the attention of the celestial race at the same time. Now wasn't the right time. Lu Ming planned to cultivate and raise his cultivation level first. Then, he would find an opportunity to let the people of the Yin tribe see the contents of the breath shadow stone. Now, He had more than 800 chaos crystals in his hands. He wanted to rush to the second level of the Divine Master Realm in one go. He took out the chaos crystals, absorbed the energy inside, and began to cultivate. Beside him, Qiuqiu continued to refine the remaining energy of the divine weapon in its body, striving to make another breakthrough. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming realized that the Sea sect had to pray every day for the past few days. It seems that the people of the celestial race are anxious. They want to increase the speed of collecting the power of faith. Lu Ming could easily guess the celestial race's plan. However, it would take them some time to collect enough power of faith. Previously, the celestial race had spent so many years to successfully sever the first lifeline. In a short time, the celestial race should not be able to sever the second lifeline. Lu Ming could cultivate in peace. Lu Ming continued to absorb the chaos crystals, accumulating the forbidden power. His cultivation had already reached the peak of the first level of the Divine Master Realm. He was not far from the second level of the Divine Master Realm. However, it was not easy to break through to the second level of the Divine Master Realm. The amount of energy required was astonishing. Lu Ming absorbed the chaos crystals one after another. Before long, Lu Ming had absorbed 200 chaos crystals. At this time, Lu Ming's accumulation was extremely robust. The accumulated energy in his body seemed like it was about to overflow. "Break for me," Lu Ming growled. He released his energy and charged forward with all his might. This was a natural process. The bottleneck of this minor realm could not stop Lu Ming at all. Lu Ming broke through the bottleneck as soon as he charged forward. His cultivation reached the second level of the Divine Master Realm. An astonishing aura emanated from his body. Fortunately, Lu Ming had already set up a simple formation in this room that could block his aura. In addition, he did his best to conceal his aura, so he did not alarm anyone else. Half a day later, Lu Ming's aura stabilized. He had completely reached the second level of the Divine Master Realm. The second level of the Divine Master Realm is truly much stronger than the first level of the Divine Master Realm. As he sensed the vast and surging energy in his body, Lu Ming's eyes were brimming with confidence. In the Divine Master Realm, each breakthrough was a massive increase in strength, and the increase in strength would be astonishing. It was far from something a God Emperor could compare to. Right now, my strength alone is enough to contend against that fifth-level Divine Master of the celestial race. If I use my origin energy, killing him won't be impossible. However, there's still a large gap between me and Yiling Tianshou. Lu Ming thought to himself. Yiling Tianshou was a seventh-level Divine Master. Moreover, as the son of a celestial sovereign, his talent was astonishing. His fighting strength far surpassed that of a celestial race expert of the same level. He was far from someone Lu Ming could deal with. Qiuqiu is also about to break through. Lu Ming's eyes brightened. He realized that Qiuqiu's energy was also beginning to ripple. Strands of powerful energy were seeping out, a sign that it was about to break through. Qiuqiu had used Tenjin of Icy Fire Star to neutralize the impurities in its body, allowing it to break through to the peak of the second level of the Divine Master Realm. It wasn't very far from the third level of the Divine Master Realm. As long as it continued to refine the damaged divine weapon in its body, it would easily break through. Lu Ming waved his hand and put Qiuqiu into the Primal Chaos Ring so that Qiuqiu could break through on its own. Meanwhile, he continued to absorb and refine Primal Chaos Crystals to consolidate his cultivation. Bang! Suddenly, the gate to the courtyard outside was violently kicked open, and a group of people walked in. "Hai Feng, what are you doing?" Hai Zong's voice came from outside. "What am I doing? I've come to capture someone who doesn't respect the gods." Hai Feng's cold voice resounded. "Someone who doesn't respect the gods? There's no one here that you want," Hai Zong said. Hai Zong said, "No one? Haha, then is Tianyun still living here? You said that he didn't need to go to the god statue to pray because he was injured, but his injuries have clearly healed, so why hasn't he gone?" Hai Feng roared. Chapter 4579. In the face of Hai Feng's shout, Hai Zong felt a little guilty. He knew that Lu Ming's injury had already healed. The gods had decreed that after one's injury was healed, one had to pray. Moreover, The gods had recently given a strict order to pray every day. In the past, it was once every 3 days, but now it was every day. Even the injured had to pray, unless the injury was very serious. Tianyun's injury is very serious, and he hasn't healed yet. That's why he didn't pray. Haizong stammered for a long time before he finally said this. Ha ha ha, Haizong, do you think you can fool me? Let me tell you, I've been sending people to spy on you all this time. I've already discovered that Tianyun is not injured at all. He's perfectly fine. Not praying when he's not injured? If that's not disrespecting the gods, then what is it? My father said before that not praying when he's not injured is a capital offense. Haifeng laughed. You. Haizong's face was incomparably ugly, and he didn't know what to do. So you want to take this opportunity to make things difficult for me? In the room, Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He knew Haifeng's thoughts very well. On the surface, he wanted to deal with him, but in fact, he wanted to use this matter to suppress Haizong and seize the opportunity to seize Haizong's crimson stone. How could such a small trick escape Lu Ming's eyes? Lu Ming got up and pushed the door open. Haifeng, Haizong, and the other's eyes fell on Lu Ming. Not good. Why did Big Brother Tianyun come out at this time? Isn't he confessing without being pressed? Haizong was incomparably anxious. On the other hand, Haifeng was overjoyed and said with a smile, Haizong, look, this Tianyun doesn't look injured at all. He's perfectly fine. Now that the evidence is conclusive, do you still want to quibble? Big Brother Tianyun. His hometown isn't shrouded in the light of the gods. Moreover, even if he didn't pray, he doesn't deserve to die. Haizong said, still wanting to argue. Doesn't deserve to die? Not praying is disrespect to the gods in your heart. Disrespect to the gods is a capital offense. Do you understand? Men, take Tianyun down. Haifeng ordered loudly. The 2 strong men behind Haifeng immediately stepped forward and were about to walk towards Lu Ming. The 2 burly men had powerful auras. They were empty god realm cultivators. In this village, he could be considered a top expert. Stop. Haizong stepped forward, blocking in front of Lu Ming. He opened his arms to block the 2 large men. Haizong, you dare to harbor someone who doesn't respect the gods? That's a grave crime, and you'll have to bear the same punishment as Tianyun. Instead of being shocked, Haifeng laughed heartily. This was exactly the reaction he wanted from the Sea sect. Then, he would have a reason to attack. You. Haizong's face was pale. Haizong, if you know what's good for you, hand over the crimson stone and I can let bygones be bygones. Haifeng walked up to Haizong and whispered to him, You. So you want my red stone? Let me tell you, don't even think about it. Sea sect roared. Humph, it's fine if you don't hand over the red stones, but you won't be able to escape the sin of disrespecting the gods. Haifeng sneered. Gods, even if I don't respect the gods, so what? What qualifications do you have to condemn us? What qualifications do the gods have to condemn us? Haizong finally exploded. His eyes were red as he roared out what he wanted to say in his heart. This time, even Haifeng and the other large men were stunned. They really didn't expect that Haizong would dare to speak like this. What qualifications did the gods have? This was much more serious than disrespecting the gods. This was blasphemy against the gods, insulting the gods, and deserved to be cut into pieces. Was Haizong crazy? By the side, Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. He knew that Haizong was speaking from the bottom of his heart. When he saw Haizong praying, the thread of faith was faintly discernible. He knew that Haizong probably didn't really believe in the gods, but he didn't dare to show it. Now, Haizong finally had the courage to say it. He hadn't made a move yet because he wanted to test Haizong and see if he had the courage to resist the rule of the gods. He had a good impression of Haizong. If Haizong had the courage to resist, he wouldn't mind giving him some pointers and giving him a good fortune. Haizong didn't disappoint him. Haizong, you dare to insult the gods? Haifeng pointed at Haizong and said in a trembling voice. In his opinion, insulting the gods was definitely a heinous crime. The gods would send down divine punishment. Just thinking about it terrified him. So what if I insulted them? In my opinion, the gods are just creatures with stronger cultivation. If we are strong enough, we won't be weaker than the gods. Haizong roared. He was going all out. Haizong, how dare you? Suddenly, a roar came from afar. A group of people hurried over. The leader was the village chief and some other elders in the village. These people were looking at Lu Ming and Haizong angrily. Haizong was so lawless. Not only would he hurt himself, but he would also implicate them. They were shocked and angry. They never dreamed that Haizong would be so bold. Haizong, the gods descended and taught us cultivation methods. They led the Yin clan to glory. You blasphemy against the gods. You deserve to be cut into pieces. The village chief pointed at Haizong and shouted angrily. At the same time, he also flattered the gods so that he wouldn't be implicated. Nonsense. Our Yin clan's ancestor had already comprehended the cultivation method from the ancestral mountain. We can also cultivate according to our ancestors' cultivation method. Why would we need to cultivate the cultivation method of the gods? Moreover, the cultivation methods passed down by the gods are not good at all. They are not as good as the ones our ancestors comprehended from the ancestral mountain, Haizong refuted loudly. The village chief was trembling with anger, but he couldn't refute. He knew that Haizong was telling the truth. The cultivation methods that the ancestors of the Yin clan had comprehended from the ancestral mountain were the most suitable for the Yin clan. The cultivation methods passed down by the gods were just icing on the cake. They wouldn't be of much help to the Yin clan. But how could he say that out loud? Could he say it out loud? This was blasphemy against the gods. Those who questioned the gods would be punished by the gods. How dare you? Men, take Haizong and Tianyun down. Destroy their cultivation and burn them in front of the statues of the gods to appease the gods' anger. The village chief shouted. Kneel down. Suddenly, the two burly men who had followed Hai Feng here shouted angrily. They grabbed Haizong and Lu Ming respectively with their big hands. The two burly men were empty god realm cultivators. In Haizong's eyes, their auras were unfathomable and he couldn't resist them at all. Moreover, a powerful force had locked onto him. He couldn't even move. Is that it? Grandfather, I'm going to find you. Unfortunately, I've implicated Brother Tianyun. Haizong sighed in his heart and closed his eyes. Dong. Just as Haizong closed his eyes, he heard a buzzing sound that sounded like the beating of a drum. Then, he heard two screams. Chapter 45-80. When Haizong heard the two screams, he quickly opened his eyes. He saw that the two burly men from before were covered in blood. Their clothes were tattered, and their eyes were filled with shock and confusion. There was not a trace of life left in them. Dead. The two experts that he had thought were unreachable had died just like that. He did not even know how they had died. Not only him, Hai Feng, the village chief, and the rest did not know how the two burly men had died. This was because no one had made a move from the beginning to the end. Haizong did not make a move and neither did Lu Ming. The moment the two burly men made a move, they heard a sound that sounded like the beating of a drum. Then, the two burly men seemed to have been hit by a mysterious and terrifying force and died. What kind of evil force did you use? The village chief glared at Haizong and Lu Ming. Besides Haizong and Lu Ming, who else would kill the two burly men? Haizong was excluded from the village chief's list. He knew Haizong well, and he knew that Haizong did not have such means. There was only one possibility, and that was Lu Ming. This Tianyun had an unknown background, and it was normal for him to have some strange means. Here, at this moment, Lu Ming opened his mouth and stepped out with a smile. He pointed at his heart and said, "Just now, it was the power of my heartbeat. They were too weak and could not even withstand the power of my heartbeat." After speaking, Lu Ming shook his head. The power of his heartbeat? Everyone was dumbfounded. He could kill two empty god realm experts with the power of his heartbeat? Who would believe that? Nonsense. You want to confuse us and scare us? Dream on. Men, take down this blasphemer. The village chief shouted. This time, a few elders took action and stepped towards Lu Ming. Tianyun, leave now, Haizong shouted. He knew that these elders were the elders of the village, and they had reached the advanced level of the empty god realm. They were not comparable to the two burly men. The two burly men were only at level 1 and level 2 empty god realm. It's fine. Lu Ming had a smile on his face. He was very calm, as if he didn't see the old men coming at him. Dong. At this moment, everyone heard the sound of a drum being struck. This time, everyone heard it clearly. The sound really did come from Lu Ming's chest. In other words, it was really the sound of his heartbeat. Immediately afterwards, several elders cried out miserably. Their bodies flew outwards, suffering heavy injuries. Their bodies were covered in blood. However, he was not dead, only severely injured. Of course, this was because Lu Ming had shown mercy. Since you were also bewitched and pitiful, I'll spare your lives, Lu Ming said indifferently. Actually, Lu Ming also disdained to kill these people. With his current cultivation base and status, these people were really too weak in his eyes. They were not qualified to make him want to kill them. Haizong, Haifeng, the village chief, and the rest were dumbfounded. They were tongue-tied and stood there in a daze. Lu Ming had seriously injured a few advanced empty gods with just the sound of his heartbeat. What kind of skill was that? What cultivation base was that? It was too unbelievable and too terrifying. Even a true god would not be able to do that. Could he be a heavenly god? Or a supreme being? However, as far as they knew, there were very few people in the Yin tribe who had reached the supreme being realm. In the entire world, there were only a handful of them. Then, they started to tremble, especially Haifeng, whose face turned pale. With Lu Ming's strength, it would be easy for him to kill him. However, he was overthinking. Lu Ming had no interest in killing him. Haizong, let's go to the deity statue, Lu Ming said. He waved his hand and led Haizong to the deity statue in the village. Why are they going to the deity statue? Let's go and take a look. The village chief and the rest quickly chased after Lu Ming and arrived in front of the deity statue. Lu Ming led Haizong and stood in front of the deity statue. Haizong, go and destroy this deity statue, Lu Ming said. He wanted to get rid of the knot in Haizong's heart. What? The village chief and the rest were shocked. Lu Ming wanted to destroy the deity statue. That was a heinous crime. Once the deity statue was destroyed, the deity would be enraged. At that time, not only would Haizong and Tianyun be killed, the entire village would be buried with them. Tianyun, you can't do this. You can't, the village chief shouted. Lu Ming looked at the village chief, and a light flashed in his eyes. The village chief felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He staggered back and spurted out a mouthful of blood. He was extremely shocked. Just a glance was enough to injure him. This method was simply unimaginable. He no longer dared to open his mouth. Haizong was hesitant. After all, the deity statue was deeply rooted in people's hearts. It was the same for Haizong. Go. You were right. The so-called deity statue is just a creature with a stronger cultivation. If you're strong enough, you're also a deity. Instead of believing in the deity statue, why don't you believe in yourself? Lu Ming said. Haizong's body trembled as if he was enlightened. Instead of believing in the deity statue, why don't you believe in yourself? Yes, yes, yes. Haizong's eyes were extremely bright. He suddenly took a step forward, took out a battle sword, and slashed at the deity statue with all his might. The moment Haizong slashed out, Lu Ming silently attached a gush of energy to Haizong's combat sword. Otherwise, with Haizong's cultivation, he would not be able to destroy the deity statue. Boom! The battle sword slashed the deity statue. The deity statue was instantly torn apart. The power of faith on it also dissipated. It's over. It's over. It's all over. The village chief, Haifeng, and the rest were pale and their faces were ashen. Now that the deity statue was destroyed, the deity statue would definitely descend upon them with monstrous anger. They would all die. At this moment, Haizong's eyes were bright. His body was shrouded in a layer of light. His cultivation had broken through. The moment he broke the deity statue, his body and mind seemed to have been baptized. His thoughts were clear, and he was incomparably carefree. It was as if the shackles that bound him had been cut off. He became unrestrained and relaxed. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes moved and looked at Haizong's chest. There, a blood-red light spread out. Then, a red stone flew out. It was the red stone. At this moment, the red stone was emitting a dazzling light. From the red stone, red threads extended out and shrouded Haizong. The red stone has been awakened. This is to transform Haizong and stimulate his potential. Lu Ming saw through the situation at a glance. At this time, the red stone had awakened. Could it be related to the change in Haizong's state of mind? Previously, Haizong's thoughts were not clear and he was bound by the deity statue. Was that why he could not obtain the recognition of the red stone? Haizong's grandfather was also bound by the deity statue. Therefore, even after studying it for a lifetime, he still could not figure out the mystery of the red stone. Just now, Haizong broke the deity statue and completely broke free from the deity statue's shackles. Was that why he obtained the red stone's recognition? Everything made sense when he thought about it this way. Otherwise, it would not be so coincidental. Chapter 4581. Falling in Love with You Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation Crimson Stone. It's that crimson stone, Haifeng exclaimed, his eyes filled with greed. However, with Lu Ming beside him, he did not dare to make any moves. Bang! After a while, the crimson stone exploded, turning into a thick red mist that completely shrouded Haizong. Haizong stood there quietly with his eyes closed, allowing the red mist to seep into his body. One could clearly see that Haizong's muscles and bones were constantly wriggling, as if they were being tempered and transformed. Haizong's aura was also getting stronger. In addition to the breakthrough in his cultivation, there was another reason. His bloodline was being transformed, moving in a stronger direction. Amazing! This is really amazing. What bloodline is this? Lu Ming was a little surprised. This was because the aura that Haizong exuded made him feel pressured. This was unbelievable. Even though Haizong's cultivation was breaking through rapidly and had reached the empty god realm, the empty god realm was still a long way away from him. How could he feel pressured? What made him feel pressured was Haizong's bloodline. Although they were both from the human clan, Haizong's bloodline seemed to be of a higher level than Lu Ming's. For example, in the dragon clan, when an ordinary 5-clawed divine dragon faced a 9-clawed dragon, their bloodline would be suppressed, and they would submit to the 9-clawed dragon. Now, Lu Ming realized that there seemed to be a similar gap between the human clan. For example, Haizong's bloodline that was about to awaken seemed to be of a higher level than Lu Ming's. This made Lu Ming even more curious. It was said that Haizong's grandfather brought the Crimson Stone back from the Mountain of Ancestors. Perhaps it came from the Mountain of Ancestors, but it had such a function. The transformation of Haizong by the Crimson Stone was not something that could be completed in a short time. Lu Ming waited quietly. A few hours later, boom! Suddenly, a powerful aura could be felt coming from the sky, encapsulating the entire village within it. A few figures appeared in the sky, looking majestic. They stood in the sky, emitting a dazzling light. The gods have descended. Someone exclaimed, "It's over." The village chief and the others turned pale, but they still knelt down respectfully. "Welcome, God. Your presence brings light to our humble village." The village chief shouted, "3 heavenly humans, and the strongest is only a first-tier divine master." Lu Ming saw through the cultivation bases of the 3 heavenly humans at a glance, but he didn't take it to heart. These 3 heavenly humans had probably sensed the destruction of the statue and were relatively close to this place. That was why they had rushed over. The heavenly humans who were further away should not have arrived so quickly. The 3 heavenly human tribe cultivators descended from the sky, and their powerful auras caused everyone in the village to tremble. In the celestial clan, the 2 weakest cultivators had the strength of the 9th great supreme god layer. To the members of the Yin clan, they were extremely strong, as if they were the rulers of the world. However, there were 2 people who did not kneel. Naturally, they were Lu Ming and Haizong. The Sea sect was covered by the red fog. That kind of aura was useless against the Sea sect, and it was even more ineffective against Lu Ming. The gazes of the three heavenly humans naturally fell upon Lu Ming and Hai Zong. Huh, they exclaimed softly, as if they were surprised by what was happening to Hai Zong. Were you the ones who destroyed the statue just now? The first-tier divine master heavenly human asked coldly as he looked at Lu Ming. He didn't recognize Lu Ming immediately. Lu Ming had his original appearance and aura. However, these heavenly humans had been in the heavenly star area for tens of thousands of years, and they had never seen Lu Ming before. They had only heard that there was a forbidden body in the primitive universe called Lu Ming, but they didn't know what Lu Ming looked like. In the ruins of the universe, the dreamy divine jade was useless. Yes, it's them. They were the ones who destroyed the statue. They disrespected the gods and dared to destroy the statue. They deserve to die. Hai Feng shouted. A ferocious look flashed across his face as he glared at Lu Ming and Hai Zong. How dare you disrespect the gods? Now that the gods are here, let's see how you die. I'm asking them a question. Do you have the right to interrupt? Shouting in front of us is a crime punishable by death. The first-tier divine master heavenly human coldly looked at Hai Feng and extended a finger, sending out a wave of energy. Bang! Hai Feng's body exploded, his body and soul annihilated. In their eyes, the Yin race was just a bug that could be killed at will. The other Yin race members were so scared that they didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Although the village chief was furious and heartbroken, he didn't dare to say a word. The gods were too powerful. Any one of them could destroy their entire world. No one could fight against the gods. They were on a completely different level. This was why the gods were so high and mighty. You dared to destroy the statue of the gods. Very well, tell me, how do you want to die? The first-tier divine master heavenly human looked down at Lu Ming, his voice cold and dignified. Unfortunately, I don't want to die. Lu Ming casually shook his head. You don't want to die? Haha, after destroying the statue of the gods, you have to die even if you don't want to. Cripple his cultivation, break all his bones, and then feed him to the 100-jointed worms. The first-tier divine master heavenly human spoke to a ninth-tier divine master heavenly human. He thought that Lu Ming was also a member of the Yin race on this continent, so he didn't take Lu Ming seriously. Moreover, before Lu Ming made a move, he could not tell Lu Ming's cultivation level at all given his cultivation level. Yes, a ninth-tier divine master heavenly human accepted the order and descended from the sky. With a flick of his finger, energy shot toward Lu Ming. These energies were aimed at Lu Ming's vital points. They wanted to cripple Lu Ming's cultivation and break all his bones. Soon, these energies were about to reach him. Lu Ming took a deep breath and exhaled. Whoosh, whoosh. A powerful force came out of Lu Ming's mouth. The attack of the heavenly human tribe's ninth-level great god realm elder was dispersed by the force of this breath. Silence. The entire place fell into a deathly silence. The heavenly human tribe members were stunned. The village chief and the others were also stunned. Especially the village chief and the others. They couldn't wrap their heads around this. An almighty and powerful deity had made a move, but Lu Ming had dispersed his attack with a single breath? How was this possible? They thought they were dreaming, so they rubbed their eyes and pinched themselves. However, reality proved that they weren't dreaming. Everything was real. The heavenly human tribe members, especially the first-tier divine master heavenly human, narrowed their eyes in fear. Even he couldn't blow away a ninth-tier divine master heavenly human's attack with a single breath. A divine master. Lu Ming was definitely a divine master. However, the Yin race on this continent couldn't possibly have a divine master. Lu Ming had come from the primitive universe. Who are you? How dare you go against the heavenly human tribe? The first-tier divine master heavenly human roared. I'm the one who's going to kill you, Lu Ming said coldly and attacked aggressively. Chapter 4582. Falling in Love with You Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Lu Ming attacked fiercely. A few dazzling spear auras burst out. Of course, they were also shockingly powerful. The three members of the heavenly human tribe, including the first-tier divine master, could not withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. No matter how they resisted, the outcome was the same. They were pierced by the spear gleams. Their bodies, souls, and dantians were torn apart by the destructive power. They died on the spot. Crack, crack. The eyes of the village chief and the others almost popped out. Their mouths were wide open, as if something was stuck in their throats. They wanted to say something but couldn't. They could only make cracking sounds. They were so shocked that they couldn't be any more shocked. In their eyes, the god was invincible. However, in front of Lu Ming, he could not withstand a single blow and was killed in one move. Who was Lu Ming? At this moment, no matter how stupid they were, they knew that Lu Ming wasn't normal. Haizong's transformation continued. Lu Ming continued to wait. The people of the village didn't dare to move anymore. At this moment, Lu Ming was more terrifying than a demon in their eyes. They were afraid that if they moved recklessly, they would attract Lu Ming's anger. Lu Ming planned to wait one more day. If Haizong hadn't finished transforming by then, he would put him into the ancient desolate ring and take him away. If he waited too long, Yiling Tianshou might come. He didn't want to put Haizong into the storage ring now because he was afraid that he would disturb Haizong's transformation. Fortunately, Lu Ming didn't have to wait that long. In just a few hours, Neptune completed its transformation. The red stone's energy had been completely absorbed by Neptune. Haizong's cultivation had reached the peak of the Void God realm. Of course, the increase in cultivation wasn't the most important thing, so it didn't attract Lu Ming's attention. What really caught Lu Ming's attention was the aura coming from Haizong's body. In the face of that aura, Lu Ming felt as if he was facing a superior or a beggar facing an emperor. Crack. Kacha. Haizong's bones emitted cracking sounds, his muscles wriggled, and his blood boiled. The aura even materialized and formed a huge figure in the air. Seeing this figure, Lu Ming's pupils suddenly shrank. This figure was too extraordinary. It was the figure of a human. He wore a crown on his head and wore a royal robe. He held a royal sword in his hand, and his eyes were like stars as he emitted a boundless might. In the face of this pressure, Lu Ming had the urge to kneel down. However, Lu Ming was not an ordinary person. He only frowned slightly and dispelled the urge to kneel. However, the rest of the villagers were not as capable as Lu Ming. They trembled, and their eyes were filled with fear as they knelt down. In the face of such pressure, they felt an instinctive fear. For example, an ordinary mystical dragon would be helpless against a nine-clawed dragon. This was the natural suppression of bloodlines. This kind of pressure, this kind of bloodline, was like a king among men. After a while, Haizong's blood qi retracted, and the figure disappeared without a trace. The terrifying pressure also disappeared. Haizong opened his eyes. Haizong, how do you feel? Lu Ming asked. This is great. I feel better than ever. I feel like I'm full of energy, as if I can't use it all up. I can fight with the gods. Haizong said. He carefully felt the power in his body and was overjoyed. Lu Ming smiled. He knew that this was Haizong's illusion. Haizong's cultivation was only in the heavenly emperor realm before, but he suddenly reached the peak void god realm. The increase in strength was too high, and so it led to this illusion that he was omnipotent. After a while, or if he encountered a stronger enemy, this illusion would slowly disappear. Haizong, let me show you something, Lu Ming said, and then took out the rest shadow stone that Bone Demon had given him. Lu Ming injected forbidden energy into the stone, and an image appeared. It was the scene of the heavenly human tribe using the power of faith to cut off their lifeline. Haizong and the rock tribe were shocked. Most of them were stunned. After a while, most of the Yin tribe members were trembling in disbelief. What did they see? The high and mighty god in their hearts was actually cutting off their lifeline. The Yin tribe members, since ancient times, had ancestors from the main mountain. Their ancestors were their lifeline, so they recognized it as soon as they saw it. In their hearts, the god that could protect them and guide them was actually cutting off their lifeline. Was he going to destroy the Yin tribe? For a long time, Haizong and the Yin tribe members didn't react. Haizong, do you see it? This is the god that you used to believe in. You believed in them. They collected your power of faith and then cut off your lifeline. Once the lifeline is cut off, the fate of your tribe will also be cut off. If you leave, you will be destroyed sooner or later. Lu Ming said loudly. On the surface, he was talking to Haizong, but in fact, he was talking to the Yin tribe members. How can this be? How can this be? How can this be? How can this be? The village chief couldn't accept it and kept shouting. It was not only the village chief. The other Yin clansmen were the same. They were also shouting non-stop to express the doubts in their hearts. This matter was too big a blow to them. The God that they had always believed in was cutting off their lifeline. Their faith collapsed, and they were at a loss. Haizong was the same at first. Before, his faith in the God wasn't very firm, but he didn't expect it to be like this. However, he was much better than the others, and soon reacted. I see. What kind of God is this? He's simply a wolf with wild ambitions. Haizong shouted. Lu Ming didn't say much. He waved his hand, put away the breathing shadow stone, and left with Haizong. Haizong, let's go. In the blink of an eye, they were willing to leave the village. Brother Tianyan, can you tell me what's going on? Haizong asked on the way. Now he knew that Lu Ming wasn't simple. At the same time, he had more doubts in his heart that he needed Lu Ming to answer. Okay, now it's time to tell you the truth. Actually, I'm not from your world. Lu Ming said. What? You're not from our world? Brother Tianyan, what do you mean? Haizong was confused. In Haizong's mind, there was no concept of other worlds. Therefore, he couldn't understand when Lu Ming said that he wasn't from this world. Haizong, this world is very big. Your world is just a continent called the Heavenly Star Continent. In this world, there are many continents like yours, and many worlds that are even bigger than the Heavenly Star Continent. Those continents, those worlds, all kinds of living creatures live. They reproduce, they cultivate, and they are incomparably powerful. Their strength is far above your Yin tribe. Lu Ming explained in detail. Chapter 45-83. Hearing Lu Ming's explanation, Haizong was truly dumbfounded. His heart was in turmoil, unable to calm down. What Lu Ming said was completely beyond his understanding. His previous worldview had been overturned. Lu Ming did not speak. He knew that this information was too unbelievable for Haizong. He needed time to digest it. After a while, Haizong gradually came to his senses. Big brother Tianyan, are you from another world? Haizong asked again.
Yes.
Lu Ming nodded. How is that possible? I clearly feel that your life aura is the same as that of the Yin clan. Haizong said, there are countless races in the universe. One of them is the human race. I am a human, and the Yin clan is also a human. Our life aura is naturally the same. Lu Ming smiled. Human race? We're also humans? That's not right. According to the old legends, the ancestors of the Yin clan walked out of the ancestral mountain and were born there. Could it be that you're from another world? Haizong was even more confused. That's not the case. The ancestors of the Yin clan might have been born in the ancestral mountain. As for the specifics, I'm not too sure. Lu Ming frowned. Then, he said, what I'm going to tell you is about the gods. Could it be that the gods also come from another world? Before Lu Ming could finish his words, Haizong exclaimed. Lu Ming smiled. You guessed correctly. The gods you speak of are indeed from another world. They belong to another race called the Heavenly Human Race. The Heavenly Human Race came to your world to obtain the treasures of your world. The first is the Ice Fire Star Silver. The Heavenly Human Race asked the Yin clan to help them mine for the Ice Fire Star Silver. The other is Pong, who covets the treasures in the Ancestral Mountain. However, there is a lifeline protecting the Ancestral Mountain. The Celestial Human Tribe can't enter. If you want to enter the Ancestral Mountain, you have to break the lifeline. However, the lifeline is indestructible. If you want to break it, you need the faith of the Yin clan. That's why they purposely transformed themselves into gods and made the Yin clan worship them. Then, they collected the power of your faith and used the power of your faith to break the lifelines. Right now, the first lifeline has already been severed. Next, the second and the third lifeline. Upon hearing Lu Ming's detailed explanation, Haizong was so angry that his entire body trembled. He roared, So that's how it is. So that's how it is. They are collecting the power of faith to cut off their lifeline and destroy the mountain of ancestors. Damn it. Despicable. Shameless. What kind of god is this? The C-Sect's people were infuriated. The Flame Clan had collected their power of faith, yet they wanted to cut off their lifeline. This was equivalent to the Flame Clan cutting off their own lifeline. Big Brother Tianyun, you're so powerful. Can you deal with the heavenly human tribe? Hai Zong looked hopefully at Lu Ming and asked. The heavenly human tribe was too powerful. It was not something that the Flame Clan could fight against. Lu Ming also came from another world. Now, he could only place his hopes on Lu Ming. It's difficult. Lu Ming shook his head and said, according to my investigation, there are hundreds of heavenly human tribe members in the Stellar Sky continent. I can deal with ordinary heavenly human tribe members. However, the leader of the heavenly human tribe is extremely powerful. I can't even block one of his moves. What? Even Big Brother Tianyun can't block one of his moves. What should we do? What should we do? Hai Zong was extremely anxious. He felt a little hopeless. Could it be that he could only let the heavenly human tribe destroy their lifeline, break the Yin clan's destiny, and let the Flame Clan weaken step by step and even be exterminated? He was unwilling to accept this. He did not know why, but ever since he merged with the Red Stone, he instinctively wanted to lead the Flame Clan to prosperity and glory. He did not want to see the Flame Clan go extinct. However, the Flame Clan may have an advantage. At this moment, Lu Ming's tone changed. What advantage? Hai Zong's eyes lit up. After all, the Stellar Sky continent is your home ground. Since you were born here, there are some places that are advantageous to you. For example, there is a kind of light in the underground mine that is harmless to you. However, it has a terrifying attacking power to the living beings of other worlds. This is something that can be used. There is another point. The video that I showed you just now. If this video is seen by all the Flame Clan members, their faith will definitely collapse, and they will no longer believe in the heavenly human tribe. Then, the heavenly human tribe will not be able to use the power of faith to destroy your lifeline. Then, the Flame Clan's destiny will not be broken. Lu Ming said. Yes, that is indeed the case. Hai Zong's eyes lit up. If the Flame Clan members saw the video just now, their faith would definitely collapse. In that case, the heavenly human tribe would not be able to gather the power of faith to destroy their lifeline. Right now, there is a problem. That is, how are we going to let the majority of the Flame Clan members see that video? It is simply unrealistic for the two of us to go to each place one by one. I fear that the heavenly human tribe will arrive before we can even go to a few places. Furthermore, the Stellar Sky continent is so vast. The Flame Clan members are scattered all over the place. There are countless villages of various sizes. It is also unrealistic for the two of us to go there. Who knows how much time it will take? Lu Ming sighed. He had the video a long time ago. However, he had not acted upon it. This was the reason why he had not acted upon it. Unless the majority of the Flame Clan members saw the video all at once, it would be unrealistic for them to go to each place one by one. They would soon be caught by the heavenly human tribe. I have an idea. In 2 months' time, it will be the decennial ancestral worship ceremony. It is to honor the ancestral mountain that gave birth to us. It is our Flame Clan's greatest festival. All of the Flame Clan members will have to put down everything they are doing and worship the ancestral mountain. Even gods will not be able to stop them. On this day, there is no need to pray or mine. The Flame Clan members from all the villages will gather at the nearest large city to worship the ancestral mountain. When the time comes, as long as we play the video in a large city, countless people will see it. Zong said. That's a good idea. However, we will need a large number of people to play the video in all the cities at the same time. That way, even if the heavenly human tribe realizes it, it will be too late. Unfortunately, we don't have any helpers. Lu Ming sighed. We can go to the God-defying people. They can help us. Zong was very excited. God-defying people? Lu Ming was confused. That's right, God rebels. Actually, not everyone in the Yin clan believes in the gods. There are some who don't believe in the gods. They believe that the gods are fake, that they're just stronger creatures, and that they're trying to enslave us. Those people are god rebels, people who go against the gods. Zong Zong said. Oh, there are people like that? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. However, that was normal. There were people with unique vision in any world. If even a village like Zong Zong did not respect gods and pretended to pray every time, it was normal for there to be god-defying people in the vast stellar sky continent. Chapter 4584. Do you know where the god-defying warriors are? Lu Ming asked. Of course I know. In fact, many people know that the god defiants are in the deep lake abyssal abyss. That's where the god defiants gather. It's also where I've always wanted to go. I was planning to go to the deep lake abyssal abyss after breaking through to the virtual god realm. Hai Zong explained. Many people know. If the heavenly human race knows, why don't they eliminate them? Wait, is that place filled with the same terrifying light as the mine? Lu Ming asked. Brother Tianyun, you're so smart. Yes, the deep abyss does have that kind of light. So the gods, the heavenly human race can't eliminate them even if they know. They can only let them be. In fact, it's not just the deep abyss. Many places in the world have that kind of light. Hai Zong said. Okay. Lu Ming nodded. The more places in the stellar sky continent that had that kind of light, the better. The more places there were, the easier it would be for them to take action later. Hai Zong pointed the way, and Lu Ming led Hai Zong to the deep abyss. Lu Ming was extremely fast. They arrived at the deep abyss in less than half a day. There was a huge lake in front of them. It was said to be the largest and deepest lake in the stellar sky continent. The most peculiar thing was that the middle of the lake was divided into two halves by a huge abyss. The strange thing was that the water on both sides of the lake didn't flow into the abyss, as if it was blocked by some force. The abyss was very deep and dark. Lu Ming knew that it was the deep abyss. Let's go. Lu Ming brought Hai Zong and landed directly in the abyss of the deep lake. True enough, when he descended to a certain depth, that terrifying light appeared and launched a terrifying attack on Lu Ming. Qiu wriggled quickly and turned into armor to cover Lu Ming. The surface of the armor was covered with ice spark silver, which successfully blocked the light. As for Hai Zong, as a member of the Yin race, he was unharmed. Big Brother Tianyun is truly unfathomable. When Hai Zong saw that Lu Ming was unharmed, his heart shook violently. As far as he knew, the light was so terrifying that even the gods, the heavenly humans, didn't dare to touch it. That was why the god defiants were allowed to gather there. However, Lu Ming was able to block the light that even the heavenly human tribe couldn't block. Fortunately, Lu Ming wasn't a heavenly human. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any deity defiance. They would have been killed long ago. Very soon, Lu Ming and Hai Zong descended 100,000 miles and arrived at the bottom of the abyss. There was no lake at the bottom. It was very wide, and one could see caves on the walls on both sides. Lu Ming sent out his spiritual sense and could sense the aura of many life forms. Who is it? With a cold bellow, more than a dozen figures surrounded Lu Ming and Hai Zong. He's from my clan. When those people saw Lu Ming and Huang Xiaolong, they breathed a sigh of relief. Evidently, he had also considered Lu Ming to be a member of the Yin clan. You two don't look familiar. What are you doing here? Did those so-called gods send you here? Asked a middle-aged brawny man. His tone was harsh, but there was no killing intent. They were all from the same clan, so they certainly wouldn't kill each other, even though Lu Ming and Hai Zong were under the command of the gods. While those people were sizing up Lu Ming and Hai Zong, Lu Ming was also sizing them up. Given Lu Ming's cultivation level, with a sweep of his spiritual senses, the other party had nowhere to hide. Most of the people were at the true immortal realm. Only 3 of them were at the heavenly god realm. The one with the highest cultivation was the leading brawny man, who was at the 9th level of the heavenly god realm. With that sort of cultivation, he could be considered a top-notch expert in the Yin clan. We're here to join you. We don't believe in gods and want to overthrow them. Hai Zong quickly answered, You're also deities? You want to join us? The leading man asked 2 questions in a row. Yes, we are. Hai Zong nodded. Haha, do you think we'll believe you just because you say that? That's right. Those so-called gods send people here every once in a while, pretending to be the deities. They just want to find out what we're up to, or even trick us into leaving. Let me tell you, it's impossible. You can leave. We won't kill you because we're from the same clan. The leading brawny man didn't say anything, but the others all shouted. We really don't believe in gods. Moreover, we know the great secret of gods. Please let us meet Enai Shintian. Haizong said anxiously. Enai Shintian was the leader of the deities. His real name was Qin Tian, but he changed it to Enai Shintian. On the way, Haizong introduced him to Lu Ming. Haizong's eyes lit up when he talked about him. Enai Shintian was Haizong's idol. According to Haizong, Enai Shintian was a legendary figure in this world. He had both strength and wisdom. If you want to meet Enai Shintian, you have to prove that you're deities. How about this? We'll give you a test. If you pass the test, you'll prove that you're deities, said the leading brawny man. What test? Asked Haizong. Bring it up. The leading brawny man waved his hand. Immediately, several men carried a statue out of a cave and put it on the ground with a clang. Is this a statue of a god? Asked Haizong. Yes, it's a statue of a god. If you break the statue, you'll prove that you're deities and we'll accept you, said the leading middle-aged man. Haizong was a little surprised. Not long ago, Lu Ming asked Haizong to break a statue of a god. Now he was doing it again? Lu Ming's lips curled up. He looked amused. Seeing that Lu Ming and Haizong didn't say anything, the brawny man thought that they were really sent by a god because they didn't dare to do anything. Humph! I know you're the lackeys of those so-called gods. How dare you try to sneak in? How ridiculous! If it weren't for the fact that you're of the same race and have been bewitched by those so-called gods, I'd kill you right now, said the leading brawny man coldly. Guys, I think you've misunderstood. I was just a little surprised because I broke a statue of a god not long ago. Haizong quickly explained. He stepped forward, took out a sword, and slashed at the statue. This statue was far less hard than the one Haizong had broken in the village. The sword directly cut off the head of the statue. Lu Ming was even more straightforward. He threw a punch and shattered the body of the statue. Seeing the two of them attack, the eyes of the dozen or so deities lit up. Ha ha ha, it seems that you're all deities. You're on our side. The leading brawny man laughed. The others also smiled. Those who truly believed in the gods would never break the statues of the gods, because that was their belief. They couldn't do it even if they pretended. Chapter 4585. Since Lu Ming and Haizong could break the statue, they must be the god-defying ones. Looks like you're one of us. All right, follow me. I'll take you to see god-defying heaven, the leader said. He then turned around and walked toward one of the caves. Lu Ming and Haizong followed him. At the bottom of the abyssal lake, there were all kinds of caves. Behind these caves was a dense network of tunnels. The god-defying ones lived there. There was a mysterious light that prevented the heavenly human tribe from coming in. They walked along one of the tunnels. Along the way, they saw more than 10 god-defying ones guarding the tunnels. All of them were heavenly gods. Soon, they reached the end of the tunnel. There was a huge underground cave at the end of the tunnel. However, there were only 3 people in the cave. There was a young man in his 20s, an old man, and a middle-aged woman. Lu Ming's gaze flickered. The cultivation level of the 3 of them had reached the Divine King realm. It was the first time that Lu Ming had seen Divine Kings from the Yin tribe on the Stellar Sky continent. Moreover, there were 3 of them, especially the young man in the middle who seemed to be in his 20s. He was at the peak of the 9th layer of the King God realm. Such a cultivation base was not even worth mentioning in the primitive universe. However, it was incredible for the Yin tribe on the Stellar Sky continent. Greetings, leader. The burly man who led the way bowed respectfully to the young man in his 20s. Lu Ming knew that the young man was god-defying heaven. Of course, the young man looked like he was in his 20s. However, he was much older than that. According to Haizong, god-defying heaven was at least 10,000 years old. However, even if he was 10,000 years old, it was still amazing for him to reach the peak of the ninth heaven divine king realm. Moreover, the Yin tribe on the stellar sky continent didn't have a long history. Their cultivation history was even shorter. They couldn't be compared to the big tribes in the primitive universe. Some of the bigger forces in the primitive universe had more than 100 stellar years of inheritance. They had a perfect cultivation system, guidance from seniors, and abundant cultivation resources. However, the Yin tribe on the stellar sky continent didn't have any of that. They had to rely on themselves to find their way forward, overcoming all obstacles. Under such conditions, Anai Shintian could reach the peak of the ninth heaven of the God-King realm in 10,000 years. He could be considered a genius of his generation. No wonder he could become a legend of the stellar sky continent. If this kind of person was placed in the primitive universe, with abundant resources and a perfect cultivation system, his achievements would definitely not be low. We saw your voice transmission just now. It's the two of them, right? Against the heavenly Tao looked at Lu Ming and Hai Zong. It's the two of them. The two of them broke the god statues one after another. There's no way they're spies sent by the god. The man leading the way said, yes. Against the heavens looked curiously at Lu Ming and Hai Zong. His eyes were filled with surprise. From Hai Zong's body, he could vaguely feel a sense of pressure that made him want to submit to him. However, Hai Zong's cultivation level was only at the peak of the empty god realm. It was strange that Hai Zong could make him feel this way. What surprised him even more was Lu Ming, because Lu Ming gave him the feeling of a bottomless pit, unfathomable. He could not detect Lu Ming's true cultivation level at all. I heard that the two of you have a big secret about the god to tell me. I'm curious. What's the secret? Against the heavenly Tao. Actually, the so-called god is not a god at all. It's just some more powerful living beings. And they're not living beings of our world. They're living beings of the outside world. Before Lu Ming could speak, Hai Zong beat him to it. In front of his idol, Hai Zong could not stay calm. He wanted to perform well. Oh, living beings of the outside world? Are there really other worlds? Against the heavens whispered. However, whether it was against the heavens or the others, their expressions were normal. They were not as surprised as Hai Zong had imagined. Hai Zong thought that against the heavens and the others would be as shocked as he was when they heard the news. But they were not. Aren't you surprised? Hai Zong asked. There's nothing to be surprised about. In fact, I've speculated about it for a long time. I just wasn't sure. Against the heavenly Tao. You've speculated about it for a long time? How did you know? This time, it was Hai Zong's turn to be surprised. It's simple. It's been a long time since our Yin clan came out of the mountain of ancestors. We've never heard of or recorded any information about the gods. But tens of thousands of years ago, the gods suddenly descended. It's very strange. Powerful beings like the gods, and so many of them appeared at once. It's impossible for them to appear in this world for no reason. So I speculated that there might be other higher-level worlds, and those so-called gods live in such worlds. They accidentally discovered our world and invaded to enslave us. Against the heavenly Tao, Hai Zong was dumbfounded. Lu Ming was also a little surprised. He could not help but think more highly of Against the Heavens. Against the Heavens was really not simple. His talent and wisdom were both extraordinary. But thinking about it, it made sense. Against the heavenly human tribe, creating the Against the heavenly human tribe and dealing with them for so many years, how could he be simple? If not for his low cultivation and insufficient strength to fight against the heavenly human tribe, the heavenly human tribe would have been wiped out in the stellar sky continent. Lord Against the Heavens, you're actually only partially right. In fact, there are many worlds in this world, and countless races live in them. Those gods are called the heavenly human tribe. Hai Zong immediately told them everything that Lu Ming had told him. This time, Against the Heavens and the others were a little dumbfounded. Although Against the Heavens had speculated that the gods might come from other worlds, what Hai Zong said was really unbelievable and beyond his knowledge. It took a long time for them to react. What you said is very interesting, as if it's true. But I'm curious. How do you know all this? Did the gods tell you? Against the heavenly Tao. It's very simple. Because I'm also from another world. At this time, Lu Ming spoke. His voice was not loud, but it was like thunder in the ears of Against the Heavens and the others. Boom, boom, boom. Against the Heavens, the old man, and the middle-aged woman all burst out with powerful auras, and their bodies also revealed a strong murderous intent. You're also from another world. You're indeed in cahoots with those gods. The old man shouted angrily. Don't be impatient, Lu Ming said with a smile. He pressed his palm, and an incomparably powerful force was produced. This force was not something that Against the Heavens and the others could resist at all. Under the pressure of this force, they could not help but sit back down in their chairs. Chapter 4586. As for the burly man who led the way, he was forced to sit on the ground by Lu Ming's terrifying power. Your power. Against the gods and the others looked at Lu Ming in horror. At this moment, Lu Ming was like a river of fire in the sky, giving them an extremely violent and terrifying feeling. This kind of aura was simply irresistible. It was as if they were facing a god. Against the gods, the old man and the middle-aged woman had seen a god with their own eyes. The aura that Lu Ming was exuding at this moment was as terrifying as a god. Could it be that Lu Ming was really one of the gods? But why was Lu Ming's life aura so similar to theirs, and why was he able to enter here? Their hearts sank, and there were still a lot of questions in their minds. Don't worry, I'm not a member of the heavenly human tribe. On the contrary, I'm a mortal enemy of the heavenly human tribe. I'm from the human tribe. Speaking of which, the Yin tribe is also part of the human tribe, Lu Ming said, and told them in detail what he had told Haizong before. Since he needed the help of Against the gods and the others, he had to make them believe in him completely. This way, things would be easier later. If they had doubts in their hearts, they might fail later. After Against the gods and the others heard this, they were dumbfounded and fell into deep thought. Lu Ming did not disturb them, knowing that they needed time to digest this. After a while, Against the gods and the others came to their senses. So it's a senior from the human tribe. Against the gods greets the senior. Against the gods was very straightforward. He got up and bowed to Lu Ming. You're welcome. Lu Ming waved his hand, and a force spread out and helped Against the gods up. Senior, why are you here today? Against the gods. I'm here because I need your help, Lu Ming said. You need our help? Against the gods was a little surprised. In his opinion, Lu Ming was so powerful that he could rely on his strength to fight against the heavenly human tribe. Their strength was too weak, and the gap between them and the heavenly human tribe was too big. What help could they provide? Before I tell you how to help, let me show you something, Lu Ming said. Then, he took out the Rest Shadow Stone and injected forbidden power into it. The image of how the celestial race used the power of faith to sever their lifeline appeared. After Anai Shuntian and the others had finished reading, Lu Ming explained, the ancestral mountain contains the lifeline of the Yin tribe, which is related to the fate of the tribe. The heavenly human tribe used the power of faith of the Yin tribe to cut off the lifeline. Damn it, damn it. Turns out the reason Celestial Clan collected the power of faith was to use it here. Their intentions are so sinister, wishing to sever our clan's fate. The old man and the middle-aged woman yelled furiously. Anai Shintian's face was gloomy as well. He originally thought that the heavenly human tribe only wanted to enslave them. He didn't expect that what the heavenly human tribe wanted to do was far beyond his imagination. Severing the Yin clan's lifeline, severing the Yin clan's fate. This was an attempt to destroy the Yin clan. We must stop the celestial race. Otherwise, our race will be in danger. Anai Shintian said in a trembling voice. This is what I need your help with. I can make many copies of this video. As long as we can find a way to let the majority of the Yin tribe see it, their faith in the heavenly human tribe will collapse. The heavenly human tribe won't be able to continue collecting the power of faith and sever the lifeline of the ancestral mountain. Lu Ming said, that's right. As long as the majority of the Yin tribe sees this video, their faith will definitely collapse. There is a way. In 2 months, the Yin tribe will worship the ancestral mountain. At that time, everyone will gather in the nearby big cities. We just need to play this video in public and let everyone see it. Enchantment's eyes lit up. However, the stellar sky continent is vast and there are many big cities. Do you have enough people to act in all the big cities? Lu Ming asked. Yes. Enchantment nodded and said, the defying God isn't limited to the deep lake abyss. We have people all over the world. They usually pretend to be believers of the gods, but they are actually defying God secretly. They are gathering information about each other. There are still 2 months before the worship of the ancestral mountain. That's enough time for us to prepare. All right, then let's get started. I'll make a lot of copies of the video as soon as possible. Hi Zong, you stay here. I have to leave first. I'll come to you later. Lu Ming said. After all, he wasn't a member of the Yin tribe. Although he could resist the light for a short time with Qiuqiu's protection, it was impossible for him to stay here for 2 months. After exchanging a few words with Haizong and Enchantment, Lu Ming left the deep lake abyss and went outside. He found a secret place and waved his hand. A pile of breath shadow stones appeared. Breath shadow stones weren't considered precious treasures in the primitive universe. They were common goods and everyone would carry some with them. Over the years, Lu Ming had killed so many opponents. The breathing shadow stones in his possession had long piled up like a mountain. He took out the breath shadow stone and activated the video on it. Then, he controlled hundreds of breath shadow stones at the same time to record the video. Just like that, the copy of the video was complete. Lu Ming was very fast. Before long, he had copied over 10,000 breath shadow stones. This number was definitely enough. The D-Fire also started to move. Many of them set off from the deep lake abyss and scattered to every corner of the world. They disguised themselves as ordinary members of the Yin tribe and pretended to believe in gods. The heavenly human tribe would have a hard time discovering them. After copying the breath shadow stones, Lu Ming took out a desolate crystal and began to cultivate. He had obtained more than 800 desolate crystals in the ancestral mountain. He had used up 200 to break through to the second level of the Divine Lord realm, so he had more than 600 left. 600 desolate crystals definitely wouldn't be enough for Lu Ming to break through to the third level of the Divine Lord realm. Lu Ming calculated that he would need about 300 desolate crystals to break through from the first level of the Divine Lord realm to the second level of the Divine Lord realm. Then, he would need at least 10 times more desolate crystals to break through from the second level of the Divine Lord realm to the third level of the Divine Lord realm. In other words, he would need at least 3,000 desolate crystals for Lu Ming to break through to the third level of the Divine Lord realm. This was only Lu Ming's estimate. He would have to see how many desolate crystals he would actually need to cultivate. However, if he refined more desolate crystals, he would definitely be able to improve his cultivation. Although refining 600 desolate crystals wouldn't help him break through to the third level of the Divine Lord realm, improving his cultivation would be of great help at a critical moment. One desolate crystal after another was refined by Lu Ming. A few days later, Lu Ming entered the deep lake abyss again and gave the copied breath shadow stones to God-defying heaven for him to make arrangements. Now, everything was ready. The heavenly human tribe wouldn't be able to continue collecting faith power once the day of the ancestral mountain arrived. Soon, all 600 desolate crystals were refined by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's cultivation reached the late second level of the Divine Lord realm. I haven't reached the peak yet. Lu Ming furrowed his brows. Chapter 4587. According to his previous calculations, 600 desolate crystals should be enough for his cultivation to reach peak second-level Divine Master. In that case, 3,000 desolate crystals would be enough for him to break through to third-level Divine Master. But now, the number of desolate crystals he needed for his cultivation had exceeded his own expectations. In total, 3,000 desolate crystals would not be enough for him to break through to third-level Divine Master. He needed even more desolate crystals. This was not good news for him. Desolate crystals were hard to find and extremely precious. They could only be found in the universe ruins. Divine Master experts would usually refine them directly, and each piece they used was one less piece. This was because treasures like desolate crystals could only be continuously produced in the desolate continent of the previous era. The universe ruins no longer had the conditions to produce desolate crystals. This meant that one day, when the universe ruins were completely excavated and all desolate crystals were excavated, divine master experts would find it difficult to raise their cultivation. Without desolate crystals, first-level divine master would be the peak of cultivation. It would be difficult to raise one's cultivation level after breaking through. Desolate crystals, there's probably a lot of desolate crystals in the ancestral mountain. Unfortunately, I can't enter. Lu Ming sighed inwardly. He could not do what the celestial race did and cut off the lifeline of the ancestral mountain to enter. This was equivalent to destroying an entire race. Moreover, the Yin race was also part of the human race. At worst, he could just search for desolate crystals elsewhere. Time passed quickly. 2 months passed in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming's cultivation was still at late second-level divine master. As for Qiuqiu, although it was cultivating with all its might, it was still at third-level divine master and had not reached fourth-level divine master. This day was the biggest festival of the heavenly star continent that occurred once every 10 years. Almost all the Yin race members had to rush to the nearby large cities to worship the ancestral mountain. This was a festival that the Yin race had passed down for dozens of stellar years. It was already ingrained in their bones and souls. Even gods could not make them give up on this festival. Moreover, this festival would only take a few days at most. Moreover, it happened once every 10 years, so the celestial race could not be bothered with it. If they meddled too much, it might affect the Yin race's faith in them. Lu Ming used the great imitation art to disguise himself as a Yin race member and arrived at a large city near the abyssal abyss. He wanted to see if the plan was going smoothly. This big city was called Lake City. It was one of the top big cities in the entire Stellarsky continent. On this day, all the flame race clansmen in the villages and towns around Lake City had gathered at Lake City. In an empty area north of whose city, there was already a sea of people. In the center of the open space, an incomparably huge altar had already been set up. "Let the ritual begin," an old man announced. Everyone knelt down, their mouths silently muttering strange words. These were the words of sacrifice. The ritual lasted for about 3 hours before it ended. Once the ceremony was over, they could disperse. Everyone, wait a moment. Suddenly, a loud shout reverberated throughout the entire place. Then, several figures flew up and stood in the sky. At the scene, everyone looked at these people curiously, not knowing what they were going to do. "Ladies and gentlemen, there is something about the gods that I would like you to take a look at." After a middle-aged man finished speaking, a crystal stone appeared in his hand. Lu Ming recognized that this was precisely the resting shadow stone. It seemed that these people were all god-defying. The middle-aged man injected power into the resting shadow stone. Immediately, the video of the heavenly human race cutting off the lifeline with the power of faith appeared. Also, what they said at that time was clearly heard by everyone present. All the flame race clansmen stared at the video. Gradually, their chests heaved up and down, their bodies trembled, and their eyes were filled with confusion. After a while, the video ended. "How can this be? How can this be? Are these the gods? They're destroying the mountain of ancestors. They're cutting off the lifeline of the mountain of ancestors. They asked us to believe in them and pray for them so that they can collect our power of faith and cut off the lifeline of the mountain of ancestors. How can this be? They're gods." There was an uproar. Countless people were discussing and yelling in disbelief. They felt that their faith had collapsed. It was very uncomfortable to believe in something that they had believed in all their lives. Once it collapsed, they would need time to adjust. "No, that's not right. How do we know if this is true? Maybe it's fake? Are you god-defying? Are you trying to slander the gods?" Someone yelled. Some die-hard fans of the gods still chose to believe in the gods. "This is the video. It's absolutely true. How can we fake it? Besides, you've seen the video. Those so-called gods showed such powerful power. If that power isn't real, how can we fake it?" One of the god-defying shouted. "Besides, we'll know if it's fake when we go to the mountain of ancestors. Besides, when the lifeline of the mountain of ancestors was cut off, did you have a feeling that a disaster was coming?" Another god-defying shouted. "A feeling of a disaster? Yes, I did. It was on that day. Me too, countless people yelled. Their timing actually matched up. Almost at the same time, they had a feeling that a disaster was about to befall them. The lifeline of the Mountain of Ancestors is the fate of the flame race. It's connected to all of us. When the lifeline is cut off, all of us can feel it. Don't you believe me now? A god-defying shouted. His voice was heard everywhere. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. He knew that he had succeeded. As expected, the confusion in the eyes of many flame race members gradually disappeared. It was replaced by anger. T. What gods? They're all fake. They're lying to us. They won't lead us to prosperity. They'll only bring us destruction. I won't believe in them anymore. Me too. Let's go back and smash their statues. Countless members of the Yin clan roared and scattered like a swarm of bees. They went back to smash the deity statues. That was happening all over the Heavenly Star continent. In the giant cities on the Heavenly Star continent, countless flame race members lost their faith in the heavenly human race. They smashed the statues angrily. Yiling Tianshou and the others had been living near the Mountain of Ancestors. They were waiting to collect enough power of faith to cut off the second lifeline. At this moment, the power of faith that they had gathered suddenly disappeared without a trace. This startled all of the celestial tribe members. What's going on? What's going on? Yiling Tianshou yelled. Lord Tianshou, not only did the power of faith we collected disappear, but so did the follow-up power of faith. The channels connecting us to the statues were also cut off. A fifth-level divine master heavenly human race elder reported. Send someone to find out what's going on. Yiling Tianshou yelled. Chapter 4588. Soon, many heavenly human tribe elites were mobilized. They spread out and flew toward the surrounding big cities. The heavenly human race soon found out the truth and reported it to Yiling Tianshou. What? Most of the flame race saw us using the power of faith to sever the lifeline. Damn it, Lu Ming. It's that damned Lu Ming. Yiling Tianshou roared, his eyes brimming with cold killing intent. He immediately thought of Lu Ming. Lu Ming had disguised himself as Yi Chuyu and secretly entered the ancestral mountain to dig out a large number of primal crystals before escaping. It was most likely Lu Ming who had secretly recorded the scene of them severing the lifeline. He had not expected Lu Ming to play this trick and cut off the source of their power of faith. Lu Ming, don't fall into my hands, or else I'll make you regret it. Yiling Tianshou ground his teeth, his killing intent reaching its peak. He wanted nothing more than to skin Lu Ming and chop him into pieces. Lord Tianshou, what should we do now? The fifth-level God Lord Elder asked. Yiling Tianshou had two fifth-level God Lord subordinates. One of them had fought with Lu Ming in the ancestral mountain, and the other was this elder. Kill. Immediately send experts to the Heavenly Star continent. Kill the Yin clan as soon as you see them. This continent doesn't need them anymore. I want to kill all the Yin clan members and leave only a few of them who still believe in us. At most, we'll spend 10,000 years. No, just several thousand years. And the flame race will once again spread across this continent and provide us with power of faith. Yiling Tianshou coldly said, his face cold and sinister. The fifth-level God Lord, heavenly human race elder felt a chill in his heart. Yiling Tianshou wanted to exterminate all the flame race. It was impossible to count the number of flame race members living on this continent. It was in the hundreds of millions. For Yiling Tianshou to exterminate so many flame race members, his methods were truly ruthless. However, this plan was indeed feasible. As long as they exterminated the flame race and left only a few who still believed in the heavenly human race, it would be fine. It did not matter if there were none. They could leave behind a group of infants. The infants did not know what the heavenly human race had done, but with some guidance, they would become loyal believers. Once these infants grew up, they would continue to reproduce. In a few thousand years, the race would spread across the continent and provide them with an endless supply of power of faith. It was just an extra few thousand years. To them, a few thousand years was nothing. Remember, don't waste the blood of the Yin clansmen. Collect all of it and bring it back. Yiling Tianshou continued ordered. Yes. The fifth-level God Lord, heavenly human race elder, went to carry out the order. However, Lu Ming had long expected this move from Yiling Tianshou. Therefore, he had already discussed countermeasures with God-defying heaven. When the faith of the Yin clansmen crumbled, they would arrange for people to lead the Yin clansmen to a nearby place where they could hide. For example, the 36 mines could hide a large number of flame race clansmen. There was that type of light in the mine, so the celestial race couldn't enter. As long as they hid inside, they would be safe. Tianshou also had some underground caverns like the Abyss Lake. There were many underground caverns like the Abyss Lake in the vast, heavenly star continent. Some of the underground caverns were extremely huge, like an underground world. These underground caverns were filled with terrifying light and were the best hiding places for the flame race. These huge underground caverns could hold a shocking number of people. Before the people from the heavenly human clan arrived, many people from the Yin clan had already entered those hiding places. As a result, the people from the heavenly human clan arrived empty-handed. However, not all of the flame race members had managed to hide in time. The heavenly human race changed their plan when they found nothing. They sped up their search. Many flame race members still fell into the hands of the heavenly human race. Lu Ming also returned to the Abyss Lake to meet up with Tianshou. How was it? Did the plan go smoothly? Lu Ming asked after seeing Tianshou. All in all, it went smoothly. Most people's faith collapsed after seeing the video. Then, we arranged for them to be transferred to the hiding places that the heavenly human race couldn't enter. However, there were still a few people who were loyal to the heavenly human race who didn't want to believe us. They still chose to believe in the heavenly human race. There were also some who didn't manage to hide in time and were captured by the heavenly human race. But all in all, we still won. Tianshou. Lu Ming nodded. Only a few people fell into the hands of the heavenly human race. He believed that they wouldn't be able to cause any trouble. It was fine as long as most of the flame race members were still alive. Even if the heavenly human race continued to instill ideas in their descendants, most of the flame race members were still alive. They could go out from time to time and show the flame race members the video. Naturally, their faith wouldn't be firm. Later, it would be difficult for the heavenly human race to absorb the power of faith. Overall, their plan was a great success. Next, Lu Ming stayed in the abyss of the deep lake. He didn't plan to leave the heavenly star continent for the time being, because he hadn't finished digging out the ice fire star silver. Lu Ming planned to stay here first and let Qiuqiu dig out the ice fire star silver. He would leave when it was almost done. Yiling Tianshou definitely had a large amount of ice fire star silver in his hands. However, Lu Ming wasn't a match for him. He really couldn't snatch it. However, Lu Ming didn't plan to inform Fei Huang. He also had his own selfish motives. Yiling Tianshou and the others' goal was the Mountain of Ancestors. They definitely wouldn't leave in a short time. When the time came, he would leave the Stellar Sky continent first and go to other places to adventure and improve his cultivation. When his cultivation improved, he would come back and kill Yiling Tianshou. Then, wouldn't the huge amount of ice fire star silver on Yiling Tianshou become his? Yiling Tianshou really didn't know how much ice fire star silver he had. According to Qiuqiu's estimation of the size of the mines, Yiling Tianshou definitely had more than 500 kilograms of ice fire star silver on him. 500 kilograms of ice fire star silver was enough to refine thousands of source-level divine weapons. This was an unimaginably huge resource. Lu Ming naturally wasn't willing to give up easily. Qiuqiu secretly went to mine, and Lu Ming cultivated in the Abyss Lake while waiting. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. On this day, an uninvited guest came to the Abyss Lake. He was sent by the celestial race. This person was a middle-aged burly man. Clearly, he was a die-hard fan of the celestial race and was loyal to the celestial race. In the vast Stellar Sky continent, there were countless Yin clan members. It wasn't surprising that there were some such people. When this person came, he specifically asked to see Lu Ming. "See me." Lu Ming's eyes flashed, and he came to an empty underground space in the Abyss Lake. At this time, there were already many people in this underground space. There were at least hundreds of people from Defying God Sky, C-Sect, and others. In the crowd, A middle-aged burly man stood proudly. Chapter 4589. How dare you defy the gods? Don't you know that this is a serious crime? The gods will punish you sooner or later to make you repent. The middle-aged man said loudly, looking high and mighty. What bullsh *T gods? Don't you know that those so-called gods want to use our power of faith to cut off the lifeline of our race? How dare you believe in them? An old man roared. So what? As the people of the gods, it's only right to make some sacrifices. It's our honor to be able to sacrifice for the gods. The middle-aged man said, shameless. Many of the deities looked angry. The middle-aged man was hopeless. What's your purpose here? Against the way of the gods. I'm here to see Lu Ming. I have something to show you. The middle-aged man said, I'm right here. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke and strode over. He's really Lu Ming. He used an alias before. Against the gods, and the others were surprised. Lu Ming didn't tell them that was his name. However, they didn't say much despite their doubts. What do you want to show us? Show us. Lu Ming said, well, since everyone is here, let's take a closer look. The middle-aged man said, and a crystal appeared in his hand. A shadow stone. Lu Ming recognized it at a glance. The shadow stone glowed, and an image appeared in the air. It was a heavenly human in the image. Yiling Tianshou. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. The person in the image was Yiling Tianshou. Yiling Tianshou's face was gloomy and full of murderous intent. Lu Ming, I know you're behind all this, but do you think I can't cut off the lifeline and enter the mountain of ancestors just because you cut off the source of my power of faith? How naive. Let me show you something good. Yiling Tianshou said, and the image changed to another place. There was a huge crater here, and the surroundings of the crater were densely packed with runes. Some heavenly human tribe members were standing around the crater. They were holding some flame tribe members in their hands. With a wave of his hand, the heavenly human celestial tossed the Yin clan members into the deep pit. Immediately, miserable shrieks came from the deep pit. A bloody mist filled the air before it was sucked back into the pit. At that moment, the video started moving again. It moved towards the deep pit. Slowly, the scene inside the deep pit appeared in the video and in front of everyone. Some of the deities vomited when they saw what was in the pit. Even An Shintian and the others had ugly expressions on their faces. Many of them were trembling with anger. The scene in the deep pit was too terrifying. Those were all flesh and blood, the flesh and blood of the Yin clansmen. It was clear that a spirit formation had been set up in that deep pit. Once the people from the Yin clan were thrown into it, they would immediately turn into flesh and blood. In the middle of the flesh and blood, 3 weapons were stabbed into the ground. They seemed to be refining the power of the flesh and blood of the flame clansmen, turning incomparably red. At this moment, the scene changed again, and Yiling Tianshou reappeared. Did you see that? I am using the flesh and blood of the Yin clan to refine weapons. Actually, let me tell you a big secret. To cut off the lifeline of the ancestral mountain, not only the power of faith is useful, but the flesh and blood of the Yin clan members are also useful. If you refine the flesh and blood of the Yin clan members into the weapons, you can still cut off the lifeline. Lu Ming, you might be curious why I didn't use the flesh and blood of the Yin clan members to cut off the lifeline in the past. That's because even if I killed all the Yin clan members on the continent, there might not be enough to cut off 9 lifeline. That's why I decided to collect the power of faith first and cut off the lifeline. After cutting off 4 or 5 lifeline with the power of faith, I will use the flesh and blood of the Yin clan members to cut off the lifeline. That's the only way to be foolproof. Ha ha ha. Having said that, Yiling Tianshou laughed maniacally. Damn it, despicable heavenly human tribe. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them. The other people from the Yin clan roared angrily. Their eyes were bloodshot, and they were about to explode from anger. They couldn't wait to fight the heavenly human tribe. Don't be rash. Against the god of heaven roared and stopped everyone. Lu Ming, did you see that? Although most of the people from the Yin clan have gone into hiding, we still managed to capture many of them. There are no less than a few 100 million of them. The flesh and blood of these people will be used to refine weapons. It's enough to sever a lifeline. Haha, don't you want to save them? Come on, come to the ancestral mountain and save them. Yiling Tiancho said, and the screen dimmed. Apparently, that was the end of the recording. Let's go to the ancestral mountain. At most, we'll fight to the death. It's better to die fighting than to live like a coward. Let's go. The other deity defiants roared and became restless. They couldn't wait to attack the mountain of ancestors. You can't go. Lu Ming shouted. Why can't we go? Do we have to watch our compatriots being killed and their flesh and blood refined? That's right. The heavenly human tribe is too despicable. We can't stand it. At most, we'll die. Everyone shouted. Idiots! Lu Ming shouted. What did you say? Everyone glared at Lu Ming. If they weren't afraid of Lu Ming's strength, they would have rushed forward and fought with Lu Ming. Everyone, calm down. Don't be rash. The defiant god yelled. The defiant god had a high prestige among the defiants. Everyone quieted down after he spoke. I know you're not afraid of death, but have you ever thought that you'll only add more flesh and blood to the heavenly human tribe and cut off more of their lifelines? Lifelines are related to the fate of the Yin clan. Cutting off more lifelines will only lead to the extinction of the Yin clan. Are you trying to destroy the Yin clan? Lu Ming's cold voice resounded. All the defiants were frightened. Their faces turned pale, and they broke out in cold sweat. Yes, Lu Ming was right. They weren't afraid of death, but once they went to the ancestral mountain, they would only add more flesh and blood to the heavenly human tribe and cut off more lifelines for the heavenly human tribe. That would be indirectly helping the heavenly human tribe destroy the Yin clan. They were scared and almost made a big mistake. Meanwhile, the defiant god looked terrible. He said, Senior Lu Ming, if the heavenly human tribe can send people here, they can also send people to other places. If other people see this, they might rush to the ancestral mountain in a fit of anger. His words caused the complexions of the other Yin clansmen to turn deathly pale. Yes, in the other underground caves and the 36 mines, there might not be such clear-headed people stopping them. If the flame race people there saw such a scene, they would probably be incomparably angry, lose their minds, and charge towards the ancestral mountain. Then, the heavenly human tribe would have a lot of flesh and blood of the Yin clan to cut off their lifelines. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.